Hey guys, Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews, and I know it's been a really long time since I've done a video, so this will be a subscriber update, but we're also going to do some stuff that I should have done a really long time ago. So in this video, I'll talk a bit first, and then we're going to do the build in the Darkbase 900 version 2 the way I should have done it, because I'm not happy with the build whatsoever right now. And we're also putting the Dark Rock 4 Pro in the system instead of the Noctua, although I love Noctua products. I'm gonna put the Be Quiet Cooler in there for now. But first of all, why has it been a month since I uploaded a video? Let's say there's been a few personal issues, and along with, you know, the end of my career as someone who goes to school and now working, having a job. And so when you work 40 hours a week, basically playing around with computers, it's hard to come home and be super interested in computers and spending more time on a desk behind a PC. Also, back in the day when I didn't have a job yet, all the glorious days, I would spend all the AdSense income along with a lot of my own money on computer bits to make a video for you guys. And I was always wrong about what actually interests people. So stuff like that Elgato cameling that I posted, that video costs me about 150 euros to make. No one would watch it. It's just very demotivating. And I haven't really been interested in the tech industry anymore. Everything's just the same as last year, but they added RGB, or it has some stupid feature that no one really cares about, just, you know, because innovation's pretty much dead when it comes to PC. Now, obviously, I'm recording this on the 12th. Tomorrow, Threadripper 2 will be released. I don't have like samples or anything. I wouldn't even ask for them. But that might be interesting and maybe, you know, sparks my interest in the tech industry again. All right, and so first let's get the new CPU cooler out of the box. So this is the latest and greatest Be Quiet cooler, 250 watt TDP. You can mount this on all the mainstream platforms, so AM4 and whatever Intel's latest socket is called. You can use this one on, so it looks really good. I've always been a massive fan of the Dark Rock Pros. Actually, my first ever written review was about a Dark Rock, the original one, the C1 back in the day, on the Overclock 3D forum. You know, got some good memories to, what was that, 2010 or something? So it opens up like every other Be Quiet cooler. This is really nice, they changed this. So instruction booklets in all the languages you could possibly ever want, color printed. So this is in German apparently. Tells you all the stuff that it comes with. This is really nicely done. So hopefully this is still in focus right here. Of course it isn't. So it just gives you like really detailed installation instructions, and to be honest, installation has always been a bit of an issue with the Be Quiet coolers. Apparently they fixed it now, so it should be as easy as a different cooler to install. We'll see about it. So it's really nice that they, you know, include all this documentation. Like, this is actually really heavy. This is also, I guess, where the mounting bits are in. So there we go. We have fan brackets for 120mm fans. Labeled bags. I love labeled bags. So Intel, AMD's in there, some thermal paste, fan splitter, all the usual. Let's push that to the side and have a look at the actually interesting bit. So I don't want to put finger marks on this cooler. So it looks really well packaged as usual with Be Quiet stuff. A really long screwdriver is included. So apparently we're now screwing through the entire cooler. It's really nice. Really good quality screwdriver apparently. Magnetized tip. Yeah, looking good so far. Really liking it. And then this is the cooler itself. Something they fixed that I would obviously complain about if they didn't, is the logo is now in the correct orientation. So with the old coolers, the logo was vertically. Now they fixed it. Good job, Be Quiet, love it. So let's have a little look. There's plastic at the bottom, so we can actually put it down on our table. And then in here we get the additional fan. Now these are, I think they are Silent Wings tree fans. We'll see in just a bit. So this does actually look like a Silent Wings tree fan. It is. Bit of a different mount to, you know, make it fit as tightly as possible in the cooler itself. But yeah, this looks really good. It's not like normal nickel plated black. This is like really deep black. I'm not just crushing the contrast on the video settings or anything. This is actually really dark black. Really like it. And then as you can see, these are probably removable, these top pins, and then you just screw in the cooler from the top. It looks really good. RAM clearance should also be fine. Should be more than fine. So yeah, let's now get the computer here and swap coolers. Alright, so for those wondering what my PC is up to while I'm out, I'm currently mining WebChain. So this is a CPU mineable crypto. It's brand new, it's only been out for like a month, the miner. So hash rates are really good right now, and it's quite profitable, even though a WebChain isn't worth anything really. So you can mine it on your CPU. So this is my Ryzen 1700, getting 477 hashes, and then the GTX 970 is getting 310. Moving over to the system itself, I have a few hard drives in there. I'm running a virtualized Synology NAS using Xpinology on there. So I don't really want to have a lot of downtime. So let's turn everything off and replace the cooler and do some decent cable management. So let's first set a few things straight I got completely wrong in the video because I just completely rushed it. I complained about it being hard to remove the dust filter for the power supply, and actually it's the best system ever. It's quite stiff, but this is the bottom dust filter. Super easy, just removes from the front, slides back in from the front as well. Should never have complained about it in the video, got that piece completely wrong. Luckily no one watched the video, so yay. Then the front dust filter is also really easy to remove. Just like that, really easy to reinstall as well. And of course, because I say that it's really easy, I'm now struggling. But yeah, maybe I shouldn't have complained about that stuff. Now, people are also calling me out about not being able to put the power supply in the top. I actually do still think you can do that. I'm not going to try it, but I think it's possible. So let's start disassembling it. Something that I noticed with this case is, as you can see, I can't really get the screws off. So one of them, for some reason, is cross-threaded. Now, I'm always really careful when doing this sort of stuff. But the problem is, these screws are like little grub screws. So you can fit a flat-headed screwdriver in here, and the thread kind of opens, like the little bolt opened up. And as a result, it's really hard to put the screw back on. So maybe that's a bit of an oversight from Be Quiet. Could possibly have been done better. I mean, it's not really that much of an issue, but because of it, I'm not really sure that it's going to last quite as long as it perhaps should. Let's get the final one off and hope the glass doesn't fall, because we've had enough broken glass already here because a tree fell on our cars, which was, more good luck. But anyway, this is now the system open. It may be a little bit dusty inside, so let's have a look. I'll first talk you guys through a few things. So this is a Seagate drive, 2 terabyte drive, and this drive I'm running together with a Samsung 840 EVO SSD using the NModus fuse drive. So with X470 you get Store MI, so AMD has Store MI, and it's basically a fusion drive where you have an SSD caching your hard drive. It's the same thing that I'm doing here, but because this is X370 I had to pay for the fuse drive software. So that's what this drive is for. It has all my software on it. It works like a charm. Really good purchase. Everyone should probably just get it or upgrade to X370. And then in here I have 2 Western Digital drives. So this is a 4 terabyte drive that I'm actively using, and then this one isn't plugged in. The reason I have it in here is mostly aesthetics, and also because I was doing the build and I wanted to occupy as many hard drive slots as possible just to show the potential with this case. But it's not plugged in. We're not going to plug it in because it's actually a dead drive as well. So this was a 3 terabyte drive that got damaged in shipping. What we're really going to be paying attention on is of course the cooler, and again, nothing against Noctua, love their coolers, but we're just going to swap, see how good the Dark Rock Pro 4 is. Now, something I will have to show you is the cable management, which is an absolute nightmare. I actually got this case and uploaded my full review like within 24 hours. So that's why the quality wasn't that good. and that's why my cable management looks like this. A total disgrace, especially because just before doing my review on this case, I did a tutorial on how to do cable management. So yeah, I am a bit ashamed of myself because this is a mess and it should never have gotten to this point. Things like the top RGB strip that I didn't even like glue in place, I can still take it off easily. And I'm just going to reinstall it the same way as well. But the cable for it is just poking out through here instead of coming from here like it should. So that's the sort of stuff we'll be addressing right now. Right, so this is where I'm at right now. This is okay. This is good enough without relocating the fan hub. Problem I have is the drive area. This is a total mess, I know. The reason the SATA cable exits from here is because the ports don't really line up with the orange stuff. Otherwise I would have the SATA cables, you know, make this nice U-turn and plug them all in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order a different SATA power cable and a different SATA data cable. I know Nanoxia has these 4-in-1 cables, so I'll just order those and just pre-wire 2 sets so that I can put 8 drives in here, almost like hot swap them in there. So that's something I have to order. I'll probably talk about that in a future video. Because this is just a mess and I can't get it to look clean whatsoever. Another issue is the fan cables from the front. They're not really long enough to route around completely. And there's also this PWM cable, I think it's, or an RGB sync cable, which is too short, so that's also pretty annoying. I'll extend it, but that's for another video. So I'm just going to cut these 3 zip ties that I had to use. I used a lot of Velcro straps here. And then we're done with this side of the case. And then we can finally put that different cooler in, because that was of course the whole point of doing this video. We wanted to test the Dark Rock Pro 4. There we go. And I can finally put the system down and swap the cooler. The previous time that I removed this D15 cooler, I also removed my CPU. And that was not voluntarily. So yeah, that was not a happy moment. Luckily it didn't damage anything, but there we go. Now the screwdriver is already coming in handy, so like that. I have removed this thing a few times already, so it shouldn't take me too long. Alright, so sorry for the shaky footage, but as you can all see, I'm an idiot and that's why the installation was difficult. So always put your PC case up vertically so you can see what you're doing, or you'll end up with an RGB cable over the back of your CPU socket. Anyway, let's fix this and move on. So just the tiniest amount, but I do use MX4 with all my builds, because obviously I benchmark these CPU coolers and thermal paste can have a massive influence on your testing results. So that's why I always use this stuff. Now, a last thing that I want to do before actually installing is just doing a quick size comparison. So as you can perhaps hopefully see, the D15 is way bigger than the Dark Rock Pro 4. In pretty much every sort of way imaginable, it's a bigger cooler. So I wouldn't be surprised if the cooling numbers aren't as good on this one as they are on the D15, and in a way I don't expect them to be as good either. So it's going to be really interesting to see just how good this cooler actually is. They are PWM fans, so CPU front fan is always optional. So let's plug this thing in. But hopefully, because it's a bit smaller, it should be easier to then access stuff as well. And maybe I should put the little bridge on there. So there's this cross bridge that goes on here. It's a rather old school design, but it often works. And then I should probably have a look at the manual. There are no washers in there, so there we go, just like that. CPU cooler is on there. I'm going to raise the camera up a little bit. There we go. And now these things here, these top caps just unscrew. Really nice. Okay, so I got the screw in there. It's completely cross-threaded. Hopefully I can now put it in there properly. Yeah. Okay, so quick verdict on the Be Quiet cooler installation. It's improved, still not very easy, which is mostly because they want to use a top plate. I get it from an aesthetic standpoint. You know, with the Noctuas, you always get up or end up with greasy finger marks on here. You don't get that with this design, so I get it. It's just still not really perfect, is it? All right, found it. So this is the fan. It's a whatever size this is. It's a 135 by 25, but it's using the 25mm offsets for the mounts, and it actually comes with 4 brackets. So I think if you want to put an extra fan on the rear as well, you can probably do that. What's really cool is that these brackets have this charcoal color to it. So it's this dark matte gray color, quite cool. And now I just need to figure out how you actually mount these. What Noctua has is this little tab on the metal bracket. And because you have that tab in place, it's easy to pull it and hook it over something. Now what Be Quiet does is just use a straight wire, which is probably cheaper to manufacture because there's 4 less kinks, but it also means it's a lot more difficult to hook the fan in place. And also something I noticed is there's not really a lot of height adjust. So yeah, if you want to stash cables underneath or anything, they obviously tried to make this cooler as compact as they could, and they did it. It looks great and all, but it's still not the easiest to install cooler. I think Noctua's, what is it called, Secu Firm or something, it's just a lot easier to use. There we go, that's the wires done. Now I just got to find the top caps again. So it's like a really nice detail, and when you look at it, you're like, how did they get the screws in? And it looks good and all. But yeah, 4 out of 10 when it comes to instructions. I won't be talking about, you know, cooling performance, noise levels in this video, because this video is way too long already. So sorry if you thought you were going to get, you know, performance numbers. But it looks good, and hopefully it's really quiet. Alrighty, so this is what the system now looks like. Main chamber, really clean looking. Got the fans on there, they're plugged in, got the drives. Everything's really nice and tidy looking. Let's swap the case around for those who skipped the super boring time lapse of me wiring stuff up. And then on this side, the cables are good looking over here, still really messy over here. Anyway, let's plug it in, see if it still works. Alrighty, moment of truth. First time booting it up. So the CPU cooler fans are not spinning. Still not spinning, and they're spinning, that's good. RGB stuff is working. And there's something on my monitor, so I think we did well. Everything's working, I think, hopefully. Not sure though. So anyway guys, that was it for this video. Questions and comments about this cooler, please let me know. And as you can see, we are actually working fine. So questions, comments about the cooler for me and my review, all go in the comments below. And yeah, there's no longer a fixed Friday upload, but I'll see what I can do with the time that I have to make videos, and the review should hopefully be good and not be super rambly like this video. But anyway, see you guys in the next one.